Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular Review.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
Blue flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Let's do that. I don't want to sit too hard.
That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel Bobby.
Because there was no Jay White side.
Okay, just straight up gangbanging. This story has been fit. You gotta pay attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is she the CEO of, Chris? Jesus, golly.
Let's start the show.
Every great magic trick consists of 3 acts.
I know what you really are.
How does he do it? You want the truth?
Nothing is impossible.
Abracadabra.
No more secrets.
Secrets of my life.
What happened?
It was the greatest magic trick I've ever seen.
Controversial take. The Prestige is probably my favorite Chris Nolan movie, even beyond The Dark Knight. In any event, let's start the show. The superhero team up you did not know you needed. Chris Nolan's The Prestige, early 2000s. Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale, and one Alfred himself. Probably, like I said earlier, my favorite Chris Nolan movie. It's about 2 magicians who are going back and forth, trying to outdo one another. A little revenge tossed in there, a little mystery tossed in there, and of course, time tossed in there as well, because it wouldn't be a Chris Nolan movie without that. But I am not alone, because this show wouldn't be the same without these 2 people. Coming up next, we have the next Doctor. Sir, how are you doing?
Excellent, excellent. I think you're kind of underplaying. There was a lot of revenge in there. That wasn't a little bit.
just a smidge.
That was a whole cup full of revenge.
And last but not least, we have to bring in the man who knows nothing but revenge. The 3rd movie, Revenge of the Sith. Sir, how are you doing?
I was going to wait till the end, but let me tell you how you effed up with me already. Did you just sit here and say this might be your favorite Sir Christopher Nolan movie?
It might be my favorite.
Better than The Dark Knight?
Yeah.
I mean, did he put some magician on you? Like, I met some magic on you? Like,
are you paying attention?
World.
Watch closely.
Watch closely, yeah.
Abracadabra. Look, I'm telling you. I don't see it.
Okay.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it. I'm interested in hear your take, and I'm interested to tell you why you're wrong.
All right. So, quick synopsis again, as the next Doctor just said, it is a lot of revenge in this movie, and it matriculates little by little into something bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, 2 rival magicians who arguably start out as co-workers, associates, never friends really, because of one tragic accident. It snowballs throughout the film, and we are catching up. The audience are catching up on their lives and how they got to the point where the movie actually opens. And if you know Chris Nolan films, as I intimated earlier, they're not told in linear time, because the opening of the movie is actually the final scene of their story. And we are watching the mystery to us, but being unveiled through their different travails and their life's journey between these 2 magicians. I really like this movie. And again, it doesn't mean that The Dark Knight, Chris, isn't a great film, right? It doesn't mean that it's not one of my favorites. But this probably is my favorite. And if anybody knows me, they understand why. Number one, I love time. I love movies about time. I love mysteries. I love trying to figure it out. I love that if you pay attention to this movie, even if you're a first-time viewer, you have an equal chance. Yeah, I'll say you have an equal chance to figure out what's going on as anybody else, okay? Because the clues are there. They're laid out. They're highlighted. They're pointed to. But on rewatch, you're like, oh, yeah, and that's true. And you have to give credit where it's due. Whereas a lot of films, they don't really do that. I like that the acting in this is superb across the board. I like that you feel that heat that Rashad talks about. You feel that anger, that resentment between the 2 of them. And I like that they're playing mind games with each other. I like that they go balls to the wall, and they say, no, I want to destroy you in every possible way. You know, it's not enough that you're behind bars, but now I'm gonna make you suffer. I know I'm wrong in doing it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. They are so human in this movie. It's beautiful. Shout out to Scarlett Johansson, who's playing a double agent before she played a double agent. Okay, she did a great job. Shout out to the wife who figures out what's going on before the audience and is giving us clues as to what's going on as well. Also, ScarJo, she did the same thing in the movie. If you remember when she's talking to Hugh Jackman's character, so it's just so well done. Little side note: I know in Halloween we typically touch on this, and you see this where you see generally magic, and in this movie they actually make the distinction. And I'm forgetting his name right now. Help me out. He played the what is it on how did they say it? Angier, the one who creates the illusions.
Hmm?
He played Alfred.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but
Yeah, I forget his name.
I don't remember his name either.
I'm blanking on his name right now, but he said, you know, you're not a wizard, you're a magician.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And typically in Halloween, to get to my point, that we see where people are doing magic and conjurations, that it takes willpower and it takes something of self-sacrifice in order to do it. Okay, in order to conjure that.
Michael Caine.
Magic actually happened. And in this movie, even though it's not magic, okay, it's illusions, it does require, and they show that it requires from the day you get up from the moment you get up to the moment you lay down at night, and even then that you have to have sacrifice in order to be the best of the best. Now you can just do, you know, the card trick or whatever like that, but you're not going to be the best of the best. The best of the best. It's a lifelong sacrifice, a lifelong requirement, and that's something that Hugh Jackman's character didn't learn until almost the very end. The 2/3 into the movie, at least from the timeline that we have as the viewer. And that's something that Christian Bale had to learn early on. And we see why later on in the movie, why he got a head jump, why he was able to figure out what the other magician was doing ahead of time. And I love that. I love that they're putting little nuggets of how magicians think, how they do things. I remember I just saw this too. I was on some podcast, and I forget the magician, but he was saying that somebody famous had invited them to the house to perform. Okay, I don't want to say it was Penn Teller, but the whole point of it was he was showing how magicians think, and he said, you know, they were just having dinner and everything like that, and the host finally said, hey, can you show us a trick or whatever like that? And so he says, okay, come on, everybody, let's go in the backyard. And they go in the backyard, and he asks the host, he says, go ahead and just call out a card out of a deck of cards. Which card is it? And he names one. And then the magician goes in the backyard, and he goes and he picks up the card, and it's right there in the man's backyard, and everything's blown away. Everybody eventually leaves the party, and the guy goes to the magician. He says, how did you do that? You got to tell me, please. And he says, all right. He says, about 3 hours before the party, me and my assistant, we came to your backyard, and we buried a deck of cards all over the backyard in various places. And we knew where we had laid the cards. So we just went to the party, and we waited for you to ask, because it was inevitable, arguably, that you were going to ask us to do a magic trick. We're magicians, right? And all you needed to do was ask us that, and then we could just go into the backyard as if it was a normal thing, and we allowed you to believe that you were in control of it. And in this movie, there's a scene when Hugh Jackman's character, Angier, when he gets that final theater, and he's doing the 100 shows, and he does it. And the guy realizes, the owner of the theater, he's like, you got to give me a second to process what I just saw, because I know this isn't magic. I know this is not some kind of illusion trick. This is real, and it's freaking me out. And if you show this to an audience, it's too much. Nikola Tesla actually says the same thing. He says, you have to dress it up a little. And Tesla goes even further, and he says, because the world will only allow you to make one incredible leap in your life. After that, they'll call you a witch, and they'll kill you. You know, they'll destroy you. They can't take it. And I love that he said that, because we often wonder, how come we don't make, significant progress and you have these genius people? And oftentimes it's because we allow you to do one miraculous thing and that's it. And this whole movie was about doing the miraculous and putting glitz and glamour on it. And when they show you the peek behind the veil, it comes with so much sacrifice, living that half life, as Christian Bale says it, which is enough for some people. It just resonated with me on so many different levels. If you go back and you watch the different reviews that I've given on so many of the movies, no matter what they are, I always talk about similar things and themes that grab me and focus my attention. And that's the thing that I love. To Chris's point about Dark Knight, I'll tie it back into this later, but I want to give him a go. Anybody want to go ahead and say what they thought about this movie?
I guess that means me, huh? All right. So, The Prestige. Now, this is a movie that I've seen many times. And each time it's been like I can still get the wonder of the magic. Even though you see behind the curtain, I can still get the wonder of the magic. Because me personally, I love magic. I love magicians. I love, even if I know, it's just the skill that it takes to be able to pull off these things and make you really like, something's going on, but you just can't quite figure out exactly what it is. And I love that someone can have that kind of skill, make you think, okay, I know that there's some kind of trick, but I don't know what it is. Like, I love being fooled like that. And so even, knowing it's a movie, obviously there's movie magic in this case, still I get that joy in seeing the tricks being displayed and seeing the process. And, I have enjoyed the performances each time, and I do believe, like you said, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to be really astute. You may have like an inkling of it, just like the characters in the movie, as you mentioned, ScarJo, she, kind of figured out, oh, it's a double. I mean, yeah, it pretty much was a double. Twin is a double, by all intents and purposes. They figured it out. They just didn't know exactly what, the depths of the type of double it was, but they definitely figured it out. And I think you could, if you were paying attention, could kind of figure that out a little bit. But I think just like the character, just like at the very end and when the reveal comes, that's when you would really like, oh, that's what kind of double it was, and I really do like that. I every time I've seen it, I still enjoy watching it all the way through. And definitely when you see the the way that the two different brothers interact with the wife, even she could kind of tell. And I think I guess she kind of figured it out too, because she was like, I know what you are. And I think she did figure it out as well. I mean, living with someone for that long, especially when she could already tell, okay, today you don't really love me. She kind of figured out, okay, there's, two of you going on here. Or, I don't know if she really, like, really knew, but I think maybe she had an inkling, oh, maybe it's, some type of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing. Maybe that's what she kind of thought. Because I would imagine if she did really know, then she would have gone to find, the brother and say, hey, you need to stop pretending and be, the husband I need you to be. Let your brother just be, or your double or whatever, just be, the double, So I don't know if she really knew, but I think she also had an inkling too. But she wasn't in the game as much, so she probably didn't know exactly what it was. But still, I like that, all of those hints were there, like you said, and, it definitely captures you and holds you throughout the entire movie. Like, what is that secret? You're like, what is that secret? Like, what Hugh Jackman's deal is. His kind of front and center. They pretty much show all of his stuff, but you really don't know Christian Bale's, and it does really capture you through the entire movie, and it does drive it. And I think that's one of the things that's really powerful in this, is that it does give you that mystery all the way up until the end, even with the breadcrumbs, even with the hints, it still holds you into that very end. It's like, hey, this is what it was. Did you really figure it out? Were you paying attention? Did you look closely as his character said through the movie? So that's one of the things that I really, really enjoyed about this. It definitely does capture. And the back, I do kind of like movies also that have kind of their ending at the beginning to kind of give you a hint. Okay, this is what we're building up to. Pay attention. You might be able to figure it out. I do kind of like that mystery type of thing. I can't always follow it, but I do enjoy that because it gives you something to hold on to, and drives you towards the end of the movie. So that's my take on it for this part, and I'll relinquish the reins to the executive consultant.
Thank you, Rashad. I just want to start off by saying this.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Now, you might wonder why I have the number 18 up. No, I'm not 18 years old. Wouldn't want to be 18 years old. No. I'm not saying you have to be 18 years old or older to watch this movie. I put 18 years up because I've avoided this movie for 18 years. Never wanted to see it. Not loathing, but never had interest in seeing it. This seems like a movie that I didn't need to see. So I was like, okay. Houdini up there, and I'm glad he picked that name, picked this movie.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to give it a fair chance. Here's what I saw when I watched the movie. I'm going to tell you a little story, a little magic trick, if you will. This man here, right, was partners with this man right here. If you ever look, there he goes, right? They were being helped and mentored by this man right here. Right? Now, you might recognize some of these characters. I don't know what from movie. I have no idea what from movie. I have no idea what characters, but they seem very familiar to me, right? They get a sidekick after this man's wife died, and it's this woman here. Great times, right? After this man's wife died, these two split up because he can't remember what he did with this man's wife. Can't remember, maybe it was a double. Don't know, don't care, right? So this man becomes friends with this guy. This guy goes ahead and finds another wife, which ends up having a mistress, and it's this woman here. This man says, I'm going to get you sucker to this guy here. So when that happens, lo and behold, this man needs to find a new this guy. So what else did he do? He decided to go find this guy, right? I'm trying to figure out, Sir Christopher Nolan, you are amazing to have such great storytelling and making this one movie demonstrate all these other movies I see for the next 18 years. Kudos to you. Here's where I will curse your ass out. That ending was one of the worst endings I've ever seen in all of movies. So anticlimactic. After all of that, both of them just learned how to make doubles. That's what you're telling me.
Chris, did you watch this movie?
Oh, good. That's perfect. That's exactly what happened in the movie. My double came up and started looking at me like, hey, is this what's going on? I don't know what's going on. Yes, I watched this movie. I watched it from beginning to end.
Did you understand it?
Yeah, I understood it. This man here was partners with this man here.
Here we go.
And then they got a partner with this person here who ends up falling in love with this person here, who ends up rebuking this person here to go. And so she decides to go after him because he sent her to him. He gets upset.
That's not what happened at all. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris.
Oh, no. I'm not done yet. He's upset. He goes to his mentor, this guy here. He says, F you. I'm going to go find this guy because I need to get a better trick because you just told me something does not make sense. So I'm going to go to this guy here who works for this guy here. Now look, you may not understand that I watched this movie. I watched this movie. What did this guy do here? Does absolutely nothing, but decides to pull a couple rabbits out of his hat. See what I did there? Because it was hat after hat after hat. As soon as I saw the majority of hats, I said, I know where this is going. They did a little foreshadowing when he found the drunk in the bar. That's fine. I've done that myself. Dude says, this guy here, because that's what Sir Christopher Nolan does. He kept saying, it's a double. It's a double. It has to be a double. Making you believe it's not a double. Right? I saw the movie. But what does it end up being? It is a double. After the other guy gets a double, everybody gets a double. You get a double, you get a double, you get a double, you get a double. Here's your
wasn't a double.
Everybody has it was a double. It was a double. It was a double.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, what was it, James? What was it?
Angiers was creating copies of himself.
That's a double.
Those were the double. The real magician was Christian Bale's character.
Had a twin brother.
His brother were living a half life.
Correct. That's a double.
That's a
double. It is still a double.
They were playing the same person.
It's
That's
a
why
double.
he was confused. That's why he literally said, I don't know which knot I tied because it wasn't him who tied the knot.
I get that. And I actually mentioned that when I was
telling That's why his wife left.
He said
he didn't.
He said he doesn't remember because it probably wasn't him that tied his wife. I said that. I agree. But either way you look at it, it was a double. You want me to get another picture of Batman? Maybe him looking to the right, and then you'll see it. It's the same shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris is the same shit. Chris is the number one hater.
It was the same shit. Then this guy, I don't know what he was in the movie for. I just don't know what he was in the movie for. Go
because
make a card.
He was called the magician of his time. In his
well, you know what? He was a lousy magician.
He was called the magician.
This was
a wizard.
Look, you gave me all of that. You gave me Wolverine with no healing power. You know, and even though when you saw him coming up there when he was bringing the daughter to visit Batman, you knew it was him, right? Nobody was dumb. You all knew it was him. They weren't showing his face. Good job, Saw. What a climax that was.
Yeah, by the way, speaking of Saw, you reviewed all the Saw movies and you were giving them thumbs up left and right. So if you don't give this movie a thumbs up and you're saying that Saw
I'm going to wake up with a trap. I'm going to wake up with a trap. Let me tell you how this trap is going to go that he's going to set me up. I'm going to wake up. What's this? And then all of a sudden, James's face is going to come across the screen. It threatened me because I didn't like this movie. And then all of a sudden on the other screen, it's going to the movie's called Prestige, right? And I will have exactly 2 hours and 25 minutes to find a way out of
would be you liking a decent movie and not you hating on it. That would be the Prestige.
Ladies and gentlemen, find out what we're reviewing next week and this coming week. Stay with us if you dare for a little bit of magic. Find out what we're reviewing. We'll be right back. You're watching a popular review.
What's the last thing that you do remember?
My wife. I have no short-term memory. Since my injury, I can't make new memories. Everything fades. If we talk for too long, I'll forget how we started. And next time I see you, I'm not going to remember this conversation. I don't even know if I've met you before. I've told you this before, haven't I?
Cruising down the street in my 6'4". Hey, that was dope. Listening to Compton's very own Ice Cube, Eazy-E, and Dr. Dre. I gotta tell you, you are witnessing history.
People are scared of you guys. You have a unique voice. The world needs to hear it.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
This is only the tip of the iceberg, gentlemen. What's going on? What do you have in that bag?
Are you kidding me? You can't take that in the bus.
Believe I'm starving, but when I come back, boy, I'm coming straight out of
Chris is looking at his many awards for hating and being a hater. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Unpopular Review. Tonight we're reviewing The Prestige. You just saw that we're going to do Straight Outta Compton, Memento, continue on Christopher Nolan. Straight Outta Compton, I believe, is on our Thursday programming. You can join us for those days as well, Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you're just joining us, Chris is a hater, and he doesn't know what good films are. The Next Doctor does, though, and he and I are pretty much on the same page with this Christopher Nolan classic. Now, listen, I teased earlier that I was going to say why I like this better, or how it ties in rather to The Dark Knight. There's a scene in The Dark Knight after Rachel Dawes is unceremoniously disposed of in that movie. And it goes back to Bruce's penthouse, and he's in costume, but his cowl is off, and he's just sitting there. And in that movie is really about self-sacrifice and how close to the edge you're willing to go, knowing when not to go to the edge. Alfred even says it again, know your limits, you know what I mean? And in this one, that's why I like this one as well, because again, both men are going to the extreme for their passions, what they love to do. And then arguably only two people out of that, I'd say three people. Scarlett Johansson, I don't want to ruin it, but one of the brothers and the Angier, they really know when to back away. But everybody else continues that rivalry to a point where they can't escape from. Excuse me. And so they have the ends that they do. And again, I just really like the messaging of it. I really like how it was filmed. I think the movie is beautiful. And I just love the references that they give to it. And to Chris's point that he brought up, he doesn't know why Tesla was there, but because in that day, electricity was like magic, okay? And so you have Edison and Tesla, and these people were like wizards of the day, okay? Real life wizards. So it would make sense that he would go to this man, Nikola Tesla, because you're doing things that nobody else can do. You can help me. You can probably really conjure magic. And so when he creates this duplication booth, it is magic, and even for us, but it comes at great cost, as real magic often does, as so they say. And so I really like that they held to those themes, and they held to those rules and those laws. And even Hugh Jackman's speech at the end to Christian Bale's character, you have no idea. I was terrified every night. It cost me every night because I never knew which one would be in the box or which one would come out to the audience. It was terrifying, and I did it night after night after night. And arguably, the real person, Angier's, died long ago. He died the second, third time. You know what I mean? But it just shows you the lengths that people are willing to go to get the job done. And you see that in The Dark Knight. But I thought this one, obviously because of the extremes that it went to, it went farther to that, and the effect that it has on people around them. His wife, the other brother losing Scarlett Johansson, and what happens to them in relation to the law and everything like that. So I just really enjoyed this movie. Of course, if we're gonna go into what we vote, I gotta give this movie a thumbs up. It's just phenomenal, and as I say, it's probably my favorite Chris Nolan movie of all time. While we wait for the next Doctor, Chris, jump in here. Tell us your final thoughts. What do you think of this movie?
This had one of the worst endings I've ever seen in my entire life. I do not understand why they went down this route. It felt like such a letdown from this movie. I feel like they could have done it better. I feel like they could have been a little bit more creative. In the end, I don't even know who's the hero in this movie. There was a hero in this movie. Probably wasn't. I think everybody was really a villain.
Yeah.
Everybody had the dark side, which is fine. That's human life. But it was like, what? I expect better from Sir Christopher Nolan. But
Chris, did you know, by the way, sorry, did you know who Fallon was? Did you see that?
Who?
Fallon, the assistant. Huh?
Fallon, you talking about him?
Yeah, in disguise. Did you see who that was? Did you know that?
No, who's that? Is that another?
No, I'm saying when you were watching the movie, did you already?
I could tell his doppelganger.
Yeah,
the one they got at the bar when I first saw him. I could not tell him at first. And it didn't occur to me until almost when the reveal happened.
Okay.
Probably when he was walking.
Did that get you?
After he shot him. It got me because I didn't see it throughout the whole movie, but I still was let down by it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But it was just so forced to me also. But the point is, did I enjoy it? right? That's what we get at. That's did I enjoy it or was it something similar to this movie right here? That's what we have to find out. So let's find that out. Yeah, it will get a thumbs up because overall it's do I enjoy the movie? And for the most part, I watched and enjoyed the entire movie. I just thought the ending let me down tremendously, but not enough to the point where I gave it a thumbs down. It was close. It was close. But no cigar. It will get a thumbs up because besides that, it did capture my interest. I really was trying to figure out the mystery. I was trying to find out how do they do it. The obsession line and the obsession of this movie was very good. Hey, I want to be Rashad for a second. I'm not sure where the next doctor went. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk and I'm going to continue my soliloquy here. And I'm going to do it with his background. So I think...
Hey, yo, I was thinking the same thing.
I just think this movie had such potential to be so great. And it was missing out on a lot. And for that, I was disappointed. But besides that, it was good. They had some good actors in it. And what's going on? What's wrong? It had some good actors in it.
I said, how much makeup are they wearing in that picture? Jesus.
I don't know. But next doctor, when you come back, if you will.
Okay. So my final thoughts on The Prestige. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, I have seen this multiple times, and I have enjoyed it every single time. Again, I love magic, seeing behind the curtain, seeing the way it's played out, and obviously it's movie magic in this case, but still, it's a fun, enjoyable movie, and it has that mystery that does capture you and drives you through the entire thing, and that's the one thing that I really, really enjoyed about it. I definitely loved that thrill of, okay, I think I got it, and now I'm just waiting to see that big reveal and see if I got it right or not. I definitely enjoyed that. Definitely the acting on this was top notch. Humor as well. I did. When they got the double for what's his name? Christian Bale's character. I think that's probably one of the funniest things that the double on that. I mean, it was hilarious, and then him figuring out, I can kind of blackmail them. Try to get some more money out of this because I'm an integral part of this. I was like, the humor was there, the intrigue was there, the thrill was there, the magic was there. This is definitely a thumbs up for me, in case you hadn't figured it out by now. And there we go. That's 3 thumbs up.
You need me. Sorry. Are you going to use the one that I did previously, or you want to do a new one?
Sorry, what?
Outro.
Oh no, do a new one.
Okay. I'm sorry, Rashad. Go ahead. Start from your last part.
I was going to say that's 3 thumbs up right there, right? I can count.
Rashad, I want to thank you for bringing sanity back to this podcast. Chris with the hate never misses. Even though Chris gave it a thumbs up, he did right. He did right by this movie. He knows he liked the ending. Okay. For me, for Rashad, for Chris, we thank you for.
Do you feel in charge?
Sometimes Chris just, and that's fine. We. That's right.
That comes later.
Remember, push a little kid today.
Thank you for starting the fire.